Hello. Alright, we're live. I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. And we're going to knock this out of the park. There's not going to be any interruptions. It's just going to work swimmingly. I talked to the creator guys up there that do all this stuff, and so I'm going live on Instagram. Am I live right now? Oh, maybe I'm not going live on Instagram. It won't let me go live. What's going on? How do you go live on Instagram? Huh. I guess I'm not going live on Instagram. I thought I was. Weird. Oh, maybe I got to put a title up there. Oh, I think you got to have a certain followers. Huh. Maybe you got to have a certain amount of followers or something. Hey, how you doing? I'm trying to go live on TikTok, on Instagram, but apparently it can't. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Huh. No, won't let me go. All right. Okay, so maybe I'll do TikTok. I like TikTok. TikTok gets me more views than YouTube does. YouTube makes you work your bag off to get any views. If you're a creator, TikTok is the way to go. YouTube will make you jump through hoops, and you got to do it at the certain time, and oh, it's just nonsense. I don't pay attention to it. I just put my stuff out there, but I don't like them at all. But I think so. Anyways, Jacob Verana is out for 4 months. Did you hear about that? So if Detroit had any chance, they don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. Hockey's a tough market. I don't see Detroit doing anything with Veranda out for 4 months. I thought maybe they might have a chance, but yeah. Yeah, shoulder injury. He's got to have surgery. He's going to be out for 4 months. So that's October, November. It's basically, yeah, it's October, November, December, January. Like the season's pretty, they'll be out of the playoffs by that time probably. So I would have had Detroit lower. We had Detroit at 5th. I'm pretty sure if we would have known Verana was going to be out. I just did that video, by the way. I didn't post it, but Dominic Leclerc, thanks for coming in, buddy. Right on. So we're just talking about the fact that Verana is out for 4 months. Yeah. Now it's not looking good. Like that's going to deflate a team. I'm sure there was a lot of excitement. We got Borana for a full year this year, and now he's out. Not good. So Fabry's going to be their top left. Next man up is Fabry, and he's just not replacing. He can try as hard as he wants. He's not replacing Borana. So their depth just took a huge hit. Huge hit. I was looking at that today. Because I was doing our video, and I saw some stuff that I just don't see happening. They had, I guess, Nemeshnikov was playing second line left wing. I just, no, he's not. He barely should be in the NHL. I don't know how he keeps on getting contracts, actually. Michael Rasmussen's got to be up there to play with Little Suter. Got to have that. Michael Rasmussen should be up there. But that would be Fabry, Larkin, Bertuzzi. I say Rasmussen, Suter, Zadina. And I would even put Erne ahead of Nemeshnikov. So Erne, Bellino, and maybe you could put Nemeshnikov there. And then and then Gagner, Stevens, Rowney. You can't have Gagner playing high minutes on your team. It's just still a very poor looking team overall. For sure. Yeah, if they get right, then they could start. I wouldn't call them a monster, but like getting closer, that's for sure. Because they'll have a few more guys ready next year, and then it starts looking like a team that could do some damage. But getting right would be huge, and they haven't won lottery stuff for a while, so. They've really had bad luck in the lottery. When they took Raymond there, didn't they drop like 3 and have to take him there? And I think Stevie Yzerman was one of the most vocal, saying that they had to do something to change the lottery system because you had teams that were like just barely making the playoffs, getting second overalls, and it's going to affect the league in the sense that teams like Arizona and teams like that are just trying to build are going to be hurting, and especially with Seattle there now. How it's going to make it very difficult for them to progress. Yeah, could use Korpisalo in case of injury, but I mean that's a lot of cap space. What's Korpisalo making? That was the other thing. I don't know where did you hear that, Weichel? It doesn't surprise me that he wants out. Because they gave Merzlikins all the money, and now he's like, well, he's going to be their number one, so I want to go somewhere else. But I hate to tell you there, Mr. Korpisalo, you're not going to be a number one anywhere else. Now, they're going through contract talks right now, and I imagine they don't want to give him any more than he's already making, so it would be a money thing. $2.8 million to be a third stringer? I think that's pretty expensive, maybe halfway through the year. But I'm not a Korpisalo guy at all. Like I think he's not very good. He's not a very good goaltender. Top shelf hockey? Okay, I should have known that. I'm not surprised if he wants out. I hope the hell it's not Edmonton because I think he's a terrible goaltender. If Edmonton goes and gets him? What are they going to? I honestly think Koskinen might be better than Korpisalo. So now, and I don't think they can bring Korpisalo in and have 3 goaltenders rolling. So Yeah, he's a Rumours guy. He's pretty good. Top shelf. He goes. I can't remember what his name is, but he goes through a whole bunch of articles and finds writers that he can depend on or whatever, and based on what those writers are saying. So it's not like totally pie in the sky stuff. And I think eventually he wants to be one of those guys that actually has inside information down the road. And good for him. I hope he accomplishes that. But yeah, that's what his whole setup is getting inside on some rumors that may happen and all that stuff like that. I think Koskinen's better than Korpisalo. So I don't know who would want him, to tell you the honest truth. Somebody that has like no backup. If Ottawa was willing to retain $1 million, maybe somebody thinks more of them than I do, or other people. I don't know. Just looking here quick. Backups are pretty full right now. Pittsburgh, give him a shot. If Jari's really crappy, like that's what it seems like. Like maybe if some team is like super desperate, maybe Nashville, because they have Rittich there, right? And Rittich is one of the most inconsistent goaltenders you're going to find. So Arizona, Buffalo is probably better than Aaron Dell. Arizona doesn't really Arizona doesn't really. He might be able to beat Carter Hutton out. Something like that, maybe. Detroit, they got Nedeljkovic and Grice, so I think they'll be happy with that. I don't think Detroit would want to give up anything to get a $2 million goaltender right now, unless they traded Grice back. And that might be the other thing that makes it even more difficult, is if they trade Korpisalo, they pretty much got to get another backup back. So that might make it a little difficult too. Trade him to Buffalo, get and that they're probably going to get even a worse backup back, which like a Dell or something like that. So backups are too hard to find throughout the year. And I don't think Columbus is really thinking win this year, so maybe it won't matter. Flames. Who is the Flames backup this year? Yeah, they're all straight up tanking this year? Or they should be. Flames are not tanking. I'm pretty sure, but they should be. They should be tanking this year. It doesn't appear that the players are taking too well to Sutter so far, though. I can assure you that Sutter is bag skating the crap out of these guys right now. He wants to find out. Sutter is huge on being well conditioned coming off of the off season. He is huge on that. So he's going to bag skate the crap out of these guys. Who is the Flames backup? Is it Domingue? Is Domingue their backup? Oh, Daniel Vladar. Vladar is their backup. I think they'll roll with Vladar. I'm not a huge Vladar guy, but I don't know if he's better than Korpisalo. Hey, how you doing, Rosa? It's your birthday today. Hello. Sorry about that. Talking hockey here. This is Pearl of Wisdom show. So, NHL Pearl of Wisdom show. give Muller a shot. I don't think Muller. I think I remember Muller saying he didn't like being a head coach. I think I remember him saying that. Hey, Rosa's on here, and I'll give you a follow, Rosa. We're talking hockey here, so if you're a hockey fan, you'll like it. Sutter is needed in Toronto. That would be difficult for I don't know. That would be difficult for those guys to start playing a Sutter type style of game. Sutter, like people say, "Oh, that I love Sutter," but they hate Tortorella. They're the exact same. Sutter and Tortorella are the exact same. They play a high possession, almost like a rugby style game. You always have backup support, quick passes out of the zone. Everybody gets in a spot where you don't have to do long passes, and you support your defense consistently. Your defense doesn't pinch very often unless everything is set up to pinch. Tortorella and Sutter pretty much had the same style but then the difference is Tortorella, I think, can change up his style depending on what he's got. What happened with Columbus was after he lost Panarin and Duchesne and those guys, in his mind, he had to play a shutdown type system with their limited offense. And when they brought Laine in, it didn't change all that much. It just gave him another shooter to play that shutdown with. And Laine doesn't want to play that style. And if you don't have everybody running on the same page on that style of play, it's not going to work. So it was a bad situation for Laine. Yeah, I think I read somewhere that Kirk Muller didn't really like being a head coach. I know that Langway did not like being a head coach at all. He said he would never go back to being a head coach again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tortorella doesn't like the media all that much, and Sutter doesn't really like him either, though. He's pretty snarly, but he will do the odd quip every once in a while. Tortorella takes things way too seriously, I think, and I think that's part of the biggest thing that causes a problem with Tortorella. Is it's not that players physically wear down with Tortorella. They emotionally wear down with Tortorella. Like, he's got to learn to just lighten up a little bit more often. Apparently, he did lighten up a bit, but he needs to lighten up a lot more still. I couldn't imagine him when he wasn't lightened up at all. But I still say, you're not going to hear me say much bad about Tortorella. I mean, he took a Tampa Bay team to the Cup that really wasn't ready to. Even their general manager, Feaster from Tampa Bay, said that he was surprised they won the Cup that year. If you asked him before the season started if they were going to win the Cup, he'd say we're a couple pieces away yet. And Tortorella brought that team to the Cup. I mean, it wasn't just Tortorella. I mean, there was a lot of Marty St. Louis and a lot of good players on that lineup. But if you look at that whole lineup, it's not. It wasn't really what you call a cup-winning lineup, and he did a masterful job of bringing them there. And then with the New York Rangers, he turned them into the best shot-blocking teams of all time. There was never a better shot-blocking team than the New York Rangers that made the finals, whatever year that was. That was amazing. Yeah, I think he'll sign a two-way contract. I think people. I don't know. I think people are putting too much stock in Josh Ho-Sang right now. I don't. Whatever his preseason numbers, that doesn't matter at all. Well, I'll have to see Josh Hosang in a real environment before I can say that, because the guy is perimeter as heck. He plays so perimeter, it's ridiculous. He blows the zone constantly. He's pretty much a cherry picker, and then whines and complains when he doesn't get ice time, when they're just simply asking him to play some decent defense. Just decent. Even, come into the zone a little bit. Like how many times you see Josh Hosang basically just taking up his carriage and strolling into the defensive zone. It was absolutely abysmal, and it pisses off your teammates. He's a fantastic playmaker. If you could ever get, he's like Ryan Spooner. Ryan Spooner could have been, a fantastic 55 point player if he could use his teammates properly. The only difference is Ryan Spooner was a puck hog. Josh Hosang isn't really a puck hog. He overpasses to a ridiculous amount. He needs to shoot way more because everybody knows Josh Hosang is passing. And the problem is when you're going into the offensive zone and everybody knows you're going to pass, the guy you're going to pass to is getting lined up by the opposition's defense, and you get smoked all the time. So you just end up letting it go. Barzal doesn't have anybody to pass the puck to, Lauren. That's the problem with Barzal. He needs to play with some more creative players. Lee is great for what he does, but he needs some creative players in there. I would love to see him play with just take an average guy that could play on that. I think he'd be better with even like a guy like Fabry or somebody like that. Lee gets most of his goals by on rebounds and deflections. So Barzal pretty much has to go into the zone, go around the net, wait and find a place to shoot it, or pass it off to someone else, but there's no one to pass it off to. Maybe if Wahlstrom is finally ready, you'll start to see a little bit differently, but Wahlstrom is a shoot first from the slot guy. So Barzal's pretty much doing everything for the whole line all the time, offensively. He doesn't have anybody he can pass it to and find a spot and shoot himself. He's pretty much got to find the spot for everybody on that line. Beauvillier, yeah. Why don't they play Beauvillier more on his wing? There's a good one there. I'd rather them play with Beauvillier than. Well, I don't think they would ever trade Barzal. I mean, can't say never. Who could you get for Barzal? I think if you were going to trade Barzal, you'd have to package a couple and get a true number one center. You'd have to put a package together with Barzal to get somebody that's like knock yourself out good. Like Eichel. We thought about Eichel. The Islanders could be in on Eichel. You could put Barzal, and you wouldn't have to give up too much with Barzal to get Eichel, probably. They almost might even be happy to do a Barzal for Eichel. At least they'd have a number one center. Pajot's okay, yeah. Pajot's a great utility, one of the best utility players out there. Pajot and Hyman are about the same, except Pajot plays center. No, they're not trading Barzal. No, I don't think so. Like I said, if they were to trade Barzal, it would have to be for a better center than Barzal. So it would have to be a package of players that they would get back. I would trade Barzal straight across for Jack Eichel if my doctors were saying this guy's going to be completely healthy, if this guy's going to be completely healthy, I would trade Barzal for Eichel if I knew he was going to be completely healthy, for sure, no doubt about it. CL, how you doing, buddy? Woo! If Eichel is completely healthy, I trade Barzal for Eichel all day, Jacket. What are you kidding me? What are you kidding me? I'm blown away when people underappreciate Jack Eichel. If he's completely healthy, I trade Barzal for Eichel all day long. Wouldn't you? I wouldn't hardly be able to get the phone down. You kidding me? Point for Barzal? Yeah. I think they're about even, honestly. Point is probably maybe better defensively. He gets a lot of attention for his defensive side of his game, but I think Barzal is underrated defensively. So, hey, Dork, how you doing, man? Woo! Thanks for coming in. For me, I think I win as long as Eichel is completely healthy. The Islanders win all day on a Barzal for Eichel. Huge. Huge. I think Eichel is just under McKinnon. If you gave Eichel that type of offense, that type of a team, Eichel could do more with Lee and Beauvillier or Bailey or whatever than Barzal can do with those guys. Eichel doesn't need creative guys on his team team like Barzal does. I think he would be unbelievable on that team. Xavier Ouellet, yeah, they could pick him up, I guess. You'll take Barzal over Eichel all day? I take Eichel all day over Barzal. Maybe I'll do that for my next video. I'll do like stuff like this. Eichel or Barzal. Because people seem to have this idea that Eichel's a cancer in the room. You would take Barzal over Eichel, Dork? No way. No way. No, I'd take Eichel for sure. I think people are underappreciating his value for what he did on that Buffalo team that had nothing. Like nothing. There was times on there, and remember that he was having burners down his neck for the last. I mean, I like Barzal too, but there's nothing against Barzal. Barzal's a very, very, very good player for sure. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But if you're asking me, I'm taking Eichel over Barzal. It's like Barzal's a great player, but I'm taking McKinnon over Barzal. It doesn't make Barzal not a great player, but. Eichel is way underrated. Way underrated. If they could get the surgery situation done there in Buffalo, like something, the package that people will give up for him will be huge. You're pumped to see Frost tonight? I'm pumped to see Frost when there's an actual season. When when people are actually hitting each other and doing what, like playing hockey, not the stuff you see in preseason. Barzal, not a top 15 center to you. Well, that's interesting. Is he a top 15 center? Even if he's not, he's still a very good center. You know, like, well, I mean, I don't think the drama is his fault. I don't know. I don't really blame him, man. Like, first of all, that organization has destroyed him. One of the reasons why he's having the injuries is because they have never, it's always in Buffalo, it's always been shut down Eichel and you're good, right? So he's taken so much more abuse than your average player out there. So that's part of the reason why he's probably struggling with that injury. And I think he's been a good soldier until finally he's just getting fed up, and I don't blame him. It's not like the only player either. Like Reinhart when Reinhart was drafted, his biggest plus for Reinhart was his attitude. He was a captain material, and coaches are going to love him. And what did Reinhart do? Reinhart said, "I want the hell out of here. Like, get me out now. I'm out." Now, he didn't say it like that. He probably was really nice about it because he's a nice guy. He just said, I think I want to move on. It's been a while. It's maybe time to move on here. But he left for good reason, because if you were there as long as Reinhart and Eichel and you didn't want out, I think something's wrong with your head. Like maybe, I don't even know if I would want a player. If I was a manager of the Buffalo Sabres, I'm not sure if I'd want a player who still wanted to be on that team that had been there as long as he had. So I think the Islanders are going to be strong this year. Maybe the only issue I would see is if they have defense injuries, because they don't have too much to plug in the holes that way. But I think Sorokin's going to be a beast this year. I've been high on Sorokin for a long time too. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. Buffalo is a toxic, unfocused mess. Very good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Now, I think that's changing. I personally think Adams is all right. I think Adams is doing some good stuff. Just hiring Granato to start with is a good thing. Hey, everybody. Welcome. We're on the Pearl of Wisdom Show talking NHL hockey. So if you're into NHL hockey, you can listen up and comment down there in the bottom. Fan bases. Arizona. Probably Arizona. That's hard not to give it to Buffalo, but with Arizona, you're talking about possibility of losing your whole franchise. I think now that they got the new arena, though, they can settle down and know that they're going to at least have a team for a long time. And if they're knowledgeable hockey fans in Arizona, Armstrong has done a heck of a job of picking up draft picks and properly rebuilding this team. So if they're in it for the long haul, sort of like what Stevie Yzerman's doing for Detroit, you'll start to look all right. So in that way, maybe Buffalo. Because Buffalo was supposed to have already rebuilt, and now they're rebuilding again. Yay! Yeah, they're going to, they haven't got it yet, but it looks like they're getting one in Tempe, Arizona. It looks like they're going to get Tempe, Arizona. Sorry, Kempe. What the heck? It's an LA King winger, not a. For Riley and Mrazek. Yeah, actually, you know what? It kind of makes sense. I'm not. The only problem is I don't think the Islanders would be able to sign Riley either, so it'd be a rental. And Mrazek also is making a significant amount of money, isn't he? I think the next backup for the Islanders is going to be a cheap one. But then again, you can let Mrazek go. Riley and somebody might not be bad. Be a good move for Toronto, I'll tell you that right now. Because that's what I would do if I thought Toronto would go after a Fleury, or, you know, if you're in a situation where you don't have much depth, a good way to fill all those holes is have like a Vezina level goaltender. I don't think Varlamov would put up the numbers he puts up in the Islanders in Toronto at all, but Arizona, Buffalo's numb to that now. I don't know. From what I see with some of the guys out there talking, I don't see how they're numb to it. On Sirius Radio, when there's a Buffalo Sabres fan, come on, man, they are freaking hot. They are mad. So mad. Like some of the most epic freaking rants I've ever heard have been on Sirius Radio when people call in. It's actually, you tried to spell it all those different ways and you didn't get it right once. I think it's Tempe, Tempe, Arizona. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I've heard of Tempe, Arizona. I don't know. I've never been to Arizona, so I can't really tell you where it is, but Hockey News Reports in the house. How you doing there, Hockey News Reports? Are you getting that season started feeling down there in your insides? I know I am. Diehards. I'm not a diehard Sabres fan, obviously, but I am a Sabres fan, actually, in the sense that, I don't know, there's something about that team. You just... yeah, like somebody brought up who would you be a general manager of? I would love to try to see what I could do with the Sabres. That'd be fun. Yeah, but with that energy, it's like I'm a big energy guy when it comes to hockey. When you have that kind of energy on a roster, that's why I think you got to get rid of like all the old guys that have been there a long time losing. You got to start it all over again with a winning attitude, with players that have not been used to losing. Oh yeah, let's go, baby, for sure, absolutely. Let me share this out somewhere. Let me share Twitter. No, I didn't get John to do the Perlo dance yet. He does it in private. I know he does. John, when nobody's watching and he's at home, he's Perlo dancing. I know he is. I know he is for sure. He's got his Bud Light in his hand, and when nobody's looking, in his car, he probably wouldn't have his Bud Light in his hand in the car. I would hope not, anyway. So I bet when nobody's looking, you can be assured. I know he's Perlo dancing. I know he is. He's just shy. Yeah, they got to suck for the next 2 years for sure. Bedard is going to be a monster, absolute monster, up there with all the big boys. Man, his shot, whoo! That Bedard shot looks absolutely cray-cray. No, he when nobody's looking, he does it. I know. I try to tell him, man, it'll change your life, but he seems to not want it. He could have a different form, an off-the-wall dance. Eklund looking great for the Sharks. I don't know. I haven't seen him play. Haven't heard anything about how he's doing in preseason. Ducks rebuild is over. Really? How does that happen? Where did you get that from? The Ducks rebuild sure can't be over, that's for sure. No, they're not going to tank. It means, I'll say it again, it means absolutely nothing if he has 2 points in 3 games. He could have 7 points in 3 games, I wouldn't care. Doesn't mean anything to me. Just like everybody's all on Bunting now because, I don't know, I guess he got a lot of points in preseason or something like that. Like I was saying Bunting before preseason, and it wouldn't matter if he got 0 points in preseason games. I'd still say Bunting should be in their top 6, but it doesn't change anything. I'm one of the biggest poo-pooers of preseason. Preseason and all-star games, I just don't even bother with. Once the all-star game week starts, I don't even look at hockey for a weekend pretty much. Yeah, we talked about Verana being out. That is just crushing for Detroit. Crushing. However, I'm pretty sure Stevie Yzerman is wants to suck for 2 more years. At least one. He wants a chance at right this year. It means nothing. Like preseason, if you ask the players, they'll tell you the same thing. It means absolutely nothing. For me, I'll explain why I think that preseason means nothing. The game, if you're not playing full hitting, full on, hockey is different than any other sport. If you're not playing full on hitting, full on intensity, spitting that word out, full on intensity, the game is no good. I love hockey, but I don't like anything less than what hockey is. And preseason, and not only is it no good, you're not really learning much of anything when you take any of that out of there. As soon as you take intensity or hitting out of hockey, and in any way, like if you think that you can go into the shooting zones and you're not going to get hit, then what are you learning about that player? Because you're not learning anything. I mean, as soon as you're waving your sticks around and stuff like that, it's not hockey anymore. It's boring as hell. It's one of the weird games where you can't take an element out of it and get much information out of it. Well, I'm just saying maybe it gives us a chance to see a little bit, but I would rather they already know who their lineup is going to be before they go preseason and all that. They check out their body size. They've watched them all year. They've They've watched them in junior or whatever. They know where their progression is at. There are no players really that are earning in preseason games. Maybe in scrimmages and their attitude leading up to they can win their spot, but very, very rare. And usually that's just more of who you're going to call up than anything. But preseason games are simply for expanding the season. For I don't even know what it is for, to tell you the honest truth. It's totally lost its purpose. If you ask players, they wish they never happened. And I agree. I don't understand why they have them. It doesn't make any sense. Giroux played the whole game against the Isles. Okay. Just to get the rust off, yeah. And you certainly don't need as many as they do to get the rust off, that's for sure. They only need a couple actual games. Yeah, you'll see guys blocking shots, no doubt about it. That I guess that's one thing, showing that you're willing to block shots, especially if you're a player that's been known not to. And in a preseason game, you start doing it. You're telling the coach, okay, I'm going to start doing this and I'm going to start doing that. But you know what? You can do that in scrimmages too. And they do that in scrimmages. They block shots when it's like black against red players playing against each other. I would rather watch that because that's where they're really fighting for jobs. You'll see harder hitting in scrimmage games because you're trying to win your spot. In preseason games, when you're playing against some other team, it's like an unwritten rule. You don't hit too hard against the other team. You don't want to start a war in preseason with another team where it's going to create injuries that could ruin your season. It's like an unwritten rule. But when you're fighting for a spot on the team, within the team, it's different. I would like to watch that. That's what I would like to watch. I don't think so. Not in that situation because you're getting better practice. In what way? I mean, when you can pass the puck into a certain in areas of the ice you would never pass it to. You could go into a corner and you know you're not going to get hit too hard. It's the players are almost like they're almost playing like to get the game over with, really. And like you said, it's just to get the feel back into your legs and stuff like that again. But I think it's silly to have all that travel. I don't know why owners don't come out and a little more and say, we want to get this over. We want to get the preseason out because they got to pay for their players to travel and everything to go to this stuff that they could keep on doing. If Konechny got plastered the other night, I can assure you that whoever did that to Konechny, in behind the scenes, whatever team that was would be saying, "What are you doing? Don't hit in preseason," because they're going to start fighting back with us, and we're not in that. We don't want to create that here in preseason. We don't want that. For a nothing game, we don't want to take any chance of injuries. Guys are just getting, but with their own, with your own teammates and stuff like that, you know where to, you know which players are in that spot to be able to fight for a spot. Those guys can fight all day. Guys that already have a roster spot, they don't want to get in there and start taking big hits and everything like that until they're feeling up to it. Going to a preseason game, everybody's just... Well, that was in the regular season. Like the Flames doing that. I can see a team like the Flames doing that. They got guys fighting for spots and stuff like that. Maybe the Kraken too. If they've talked beforehand, they'll say, hey, you know what, let's go at her today in the preseason. Then they will. But most of the time, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to win a job in a preseason game. You're not. You could get... How many times have you seen guys get 7 goals in a preseason and they still get sent down to the minors? It happens all the time. Back in the day, there used to be lots of fights in preseasons because you had pugilists and they wanted to go out there and show what they can do for fighting and all that kind of stuff like that. But now it's just not there. I think if I'm Calgary or Seattle or whatever, if they talk to each other beforehand that they were going to go at it, then okay. But for the most part, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not even right that it will happen. It's just not right. Right. I couldn't even watch a preseason game if I wanted to here in Alberta now because they don't even have any of them on TV. I guess I could look it up on the website, or the Oilers website or whatever, but they don't have any preseason games in Alberta on TV. And I've got the center ice package. No, not in a game. I'm talking about in the preseason, like all the preseason games. If he scored 6 goals, if he was going to be on the team, he's going to be on the team, probably. Like, there might be a couple guys that was like, they were going to be fourth liners, and they came out and started showing they have some scoring touch on top of it that might be able to find a way on there, maybe. Edmonton Oilers just cut some players? Okay. Let me take a look at that. $21 players placed on waivers. Hey, we got some stuff here. Yeah, if it's entertaining for you, cool. But I personally, like I said, I have a hard time watching hockey if it's not hockey. I don't really watch it. I'll watch junior games for sure or anything like that. Okay, on waivers. Cam Dineen, doesn't mean much. Hudson Fasching did not make that Arizona. His career is over. If Hudson Fasching can't make that Arizona roster, my gosh. Wow. That's too bad. That's got to be deflating for a guy like Hudson Fasching. This was his big chance. Dyson Mayo. Blake Spears didn't make the Arizona roster either. Colton Poolman, I don't even know who that is. I don't think a coach would be fired. If they scored it in one game, he wouldn't be fired, no. They would probably keep him up just to see if he's on a lucky streak or something like that, maybe, yeah. Depending on who it is. Like, it totally depends on who it is, but... Zach, I mean, I'm talking about like in all of preseason. Say they play 8 games and he scores 6 goals in 8 games. But, you know, there wasn't a spot for him. They weren't looking at a spot for him beforehand. It doesn't move the meter all that much, is all I'm saying. Cam Johnson? Are you talking about Cam Johnson getting picked up? I don't even know who that is. Zach Ronaldo, of course, because he won't get his shots or whatever. Hunter Mishka, Will Bitton, Joseph Camarosa, Dominic Turgeon, Xavier Ouellet. Okay, you were talking about Xavier Ouellet. He could get picked up, I guess, by somebody just looking for some depth. Seattle, maybe, somebody like that. Maybe Toronto. Yeah, but like I said, it's preseason then. James Neal got 3 goals. James Neal got 3 goals in 1 game. If he got 2 more goals, it's not going to make the coach go, okay, James Neal is for sure, he's got to be our top 6. It's not. It depends on where they actually had him placed before he even got started. They'll base they're not going to base too much on preseason, is all I'm saying. Johnny Brodzinski, Keith Kincaid, and Ty Ronning. Not much. Yeah, it doesn't mean much, really. I mean, especially James Neal, to tell you the honest truth. James Neal will outwork everybody when they're not working. As soon as they're working again, James Neal gets crushed. So he runs out of breath after like 2 minutes on the ice. But if everybody else is taking her easy too, James Neal looks really good. Yeah, absolutely. Columbus Blue Jackets signed Jean-Francois Berube, so maybe they're taking that, who knows, getting some depth there in goal with the possibility, if that's true, that he's wanting out. See, any more trading camp? Fabian Lysell has already been sent down to junior by Boston, which makes sense. He's only an 18-year-old kid. Yeah, is there more in the NFL that play like, oh yeah, the first year they're drafted because they're already 21, 22 though, right? Like, how old are they when they're drafted? Or are they even older than that? You don't think if they put Duncan Keith on waivers, that's a good question. That's a good question. I'm going to Twitter that, John Weichel. I like that. That is a good question. If Duncan Keith was put on waivers, would anybody pick him up? I'm not saying they're not going to, but let's just say, for instance, if, like, hypothetically speaking, I mean, I'm tweeting that right now. Hashtag Oilers. Maybe I might even put that on my Facebook too. Okay, I asked that question on my Facebook and I asked on Twitter. If Duncan Keith was put on waivers, Weichel says no. Imagine if Dallas picked him up, they'd have the oldest team, but they wouldn't have enough cap space. Toronto probably. Toronto doesn't have enough cap space. Toronto would become Toronto stupid. Man, you hate your team. I'm not sure if we're going to do Metro today. I can't stay as late as I usually do. I think I'm going to stay till about 3:30. We could do Metro. We got enough concurrence now to do Metro. Keith, maybe Montreal? Who would take him? It would have to be a team that's going for it. There have to be a team that had cap space. Maybe the New Jersey Devils. They couldn't do it anyways because I believe he has a no movement clause. Like they couldn't do it anyways, but maybe the New Jersey Devils. Can't see San Jose Sharks. They got enough overpriced veterans on their team. Yeah. Ottawa maybe, yep. Possibly Ottawa for some veteran leadership there. Like it would never happen because for several reasons. They're not going to do that to a guy that they already brought in like that. He also has a no trade clause that he has a no trade clause, so he'd have to okay anybody he goes to and all that kind of stuff. It's never going to happen, but the Rangers possibly. I don't know. They got so many young guys coming up though. I don't think they touch them. They wouldn't want to. They want to keep that spot open for Schneider and those kind of guys like that. Yeah, I was looking at CBJ, but I don't even know if they would do it because they don't really need to. Well, I mean, they're not really winning. I suppose just to have that better leadership for a guy who won 3 cups and stuff like that, maybe. But you're talking about, I think he would clear. I don't think Ottawa would throw that much. Yeah, maybe. Keith to the Flyers. Wow. Pierre Engvall's going on waivers. Somebody will pick him up if they put him on waivers. That would be kind of who's going to take his spot. CL, yikes. See, there you go. The general manager of the Edmonton Oilers gave up a third-round pick plus a prospect for a guy who we said if we think that he would likely clear waivers, and then we say, what if Philadelphia picked him up? And the first comment that comes out is yikes. So I think, I don't know. I gotta see Keith on the ice in a regular season game to see, but I'm not like loving it, that's for sure. What? Don't play any James Taylor. What do you mean by that? Oh, Carolina? Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay. No, I don't think he'd ever be going there. Yeah, he's a good depth guy for $5 million a year. Apparently, he's going to play top 4 minutes in Edmonton. So, a good depth guy playing top 4 minutes on a team that's got McDavid and should be winning cups. Yeah, I got you, Carolina. Yeah, I got you. He's a good depth guy. I'm on the fence about... I got to get some information because I might have to finish up early today, so I don't know if we're going to do the Metro today because I got to do some stuff. I might have to finish up at 3, but I hope not. But I got to get... I messaged back from somebody here. 3? Oh, I can't get there by 3. I'm doing... Oh, I'm going to have to finish up early, apparently. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. I'll have to do it tomorrow. I got lots of people in here, and it looks like I got to finish up early today. I got to finish this. I got to... I don't have TNT. We don't have TNT in Canada. We have Sportsnet and TSN, and neither one of them are showing... Yeah, looks like I might be able to stay. Just wait. Might be able to stay. I'm bargaining right now. Okay. I don't have... And not only that, like, I'm a Jays fan. Like, even if there was whatever games were on, I'd be watching the Jays for sure. That Jays Yankees series, and I'm not yeah, I'd be watching the Jays for sure. I don't think they're on tonight though. Is that game? Are they playing? Yeah. Oh, I'll be watching the Jays tonight. But there's no preseason games. There hasn't been one preseason game on in Alberta. Oh, cool. Right on. Okay, I can stay, guys. Sweet. I bargained my way into staying. You bunch are missing out on what? Oh, we get a lot of good channels though. But I'm sticking around. I'm sticking around. The Phillies Braves race is killing you, yeah. All Elite Wrestling? Okay, I'm not a wrestling guy, so. What ticks me off is not that I care all that much on. Oh, wait. The San Jose Sharks Anaheim game is on center ice tonight. So I might catch some of that, the Sharks and Anaheim. But like I said, I don't really, I'll just kind of half watch it. Vegas and LA is on tonight. Why is recording not allowed on that channel? So there are some on, but that's because I've got center ice package. I'm not a wrestling fan at all. Not a wrestling fan. I'm staying. I had something to do. I had to do something with my wife today that was very important, but I got it switched to tomorrow morning. I can do it tomorrow morning, so doing it tomorrow morning now. Yeah, buddy. That way I can post that video tonight, and then I may not be able to do the video for tomorrow, but we can. Yeah, I liked wrestling when I was growing up. People like wrestling, they like wrestling. I'm not going to poo-poo on wrestling. I'm not a fan of it, that's all. I watched it when I was young, but I don't watch it anymore. I didn't grow up in Alberta either. I grew up in Toronto till I was 12. But when I was a kid, I watched it, but up until I was like maybe 12 or maybe 10, and then I just stopped watching. But. Toronto, yeah. And now things will start getting interesting now because there's going to be some more interesting cuts happening here soon. So I'll be liking that. Once they start getting into some interest to some cuts where you go like, really? That happened? And you're wondering why they cut that guy and all that kind of stuff like that. So that's when I really start getting interested. But I guess we can now, since I know that, now that I'm going to be able to stick around, We can do the Metro. We got 6 concurrents here. That's what we're going to do, right? The Metro? What did I want? What was I looking for here? Oh yeah. So Metropolitan Division. I hope they make the playoffs. I'm all over it. Okay, so alphabetical order. Starts with the Hurricanes. And I'll switch my title here too. What the heck happened to my OBS? Okay, we got her. We're back again. But my OBS is crazy. I can't even shut it off. What the heck? Are we good now? I think we're back, yeah. But I don't know what just happened to my OBS. It just went nuts. I've got excellent connection. Okay, good. Okay, we should be good. We'll wait till everybody gets back here. We had 6 concurrents, so we'll wait till everybody gets back and then we'll get started here. We're good, right? All right, we'll wait till we get everybody back here, get up back to the 6 concurrents again, and then we'll do the thing. Tell me who's here. If you're here, say I'm here in the chat. I'm pretty sure we'll get everybody back. We just lost them for a second. I now know what happened. I was on, We got to make sure Hajin is here because he keeps the odds. Is Hajin here? Hajin is here. Okay, well, that's good. Jeez, before that happened, we were golden. Before that happened, we were golden. We had lots of people, and now we got to wait for people to come in again. I'm sharing the stream around here. Trying to get people back in here again. Don't leave now. If you do leave, tell me you're going to go. And then, so I know that you're coming back or whatever. Yeah. Oh no, I think everybody will come back. They just thought that the stream shut down. Everybody will come back, all right. It's like I'm in a condo right now, and they're doing the roof on this on the other condo over here, and it drives me freaking nuts. All you hear all day is tut, 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 tut. So we got 4, we need 5. Anyways, I'll continue just jabbering on here. 5, one more, okay. See if we can get one more guy. Go tell all your friends. I saw Mercer. I saw you on Hot Take Hockey stream last night. That was funny when you freaking what's his name? Homer. There we go. Everybody's back now. We got everybody back. Okay, Carolina Hurricanes in the Central. The Central's got to be one of the toughest ones that we're going to do. Carolina Hurricanes in the Central. Yeah, Hot Take is awesome. Yeah, I like Hot Take. John's a great guy. So Lauren has the Canes. Jacket has the Canes second. I know what Jacket has first. Jean has the Canes. I got to take a good look at this here. Okay, I took a good look. I had to take a good look. All right, John. So we're doing, where would you put the Canes? CL has third. CL's probably got Philly. Is he going to put Philly first? Mercer third. I say 2. I say Canes second. So what do we got for an average? That should be just about everybody there now. First, second, first, third, second. It's got to be like two-thirds, 2 seconds, 2 firsts. An average of 2. That's 2 average. Did what? Oh, Weichel had a 1, so you want to average him in there too? That'll push it to 2.2 maybe. Somewhere around there. I think Carolina, I don't know. It's tough. This is a really tough division. I could see Carolina winning it. There's just, again, the question marks in goal. But if Ranta and Anderson are healthy and playing like the best that they possibly can be, I say Carolina's first. I'm just not so sure about that. $1.75, okay. 1.75 AV. Okay, let's look at the next one. And that would be the Columbus Blue Jackets. That should be pretty sure I know what. Maybe somebody might not go that on there, but we'll see. Columbus Blue Jackets. Depends on how healthy they are. Anderson, I mean, I'm a little concerned that Toronto would just let Anderson go if they thought he was healthy. And, you know, so. But then I can't see Carolina taking a chance that he's not healthy. So I'm up in the air about that. And Ranta, I mean, it would be pretty amazing. Weichel's got 4th? What? For Columbus? Wow. Bold prediction. Hot take from Weichel. 4th. Columbus is 4th. Lauren, Jackets. Are you like the Jackets, Lauren? A lot of people don't have them last. I gotta go 8 too. This is such a tough division. I could see Columbus doing some, like the energy change with Tortorella not being there. I could see them going on an early run or something. Yeah, I could see them going on an early run or something like that just because of the whole energy change and all that, and end up being higher. Because I really think this is going to be a super close division. $7 average. You like Columbus because nobody likes them. Yeah, I would like to see their fan base have like, and really Columbus do well, and they will probably, but it's going to be a bit yet. Because Larson, if they do make the playoffs, Larson would definitely got to get Coach of the Year, right? No doubt about it. Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, everybody gets on. Like, I talk to Columbus Blue Jackets fans a lot, and they get on Tortorella because they said, well, you know, he didn't let his players play creative and all that stuff like that. I mean, how did they beat the Lightning? They beat the Lightning by playing disciplined defense and learning how to take the energy away from the opposition of a team like that. They would ice the puck a lot and do whatever they got to do to slow down the game. And yeah, it's boring as hell. It is. It's boring as hell for players to play, and in fact for people to watch. But the truth is, if you're less talented than the other team, it's probably the best way to win. Blue Jackets beat the Leafs too. Yeah, I predicted that one. I was all over that. I predicted that the Jackets would beat the Leafs that year. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 5 or 6 though. I didn't think it was going to go 7. Okay, next. If anybody's new here, we're taking every time I say a team for the Metro, you just put down the number, a place where you think that team is going to finish. So the next would be the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey Devils. Where are New Jersey Devils going to sit? Hajin has got 8th. Jackets got 6. Mercer 8. Where'd everybody go? Is a concurrent viewers thing off? Yeah, it's got to be off, right? That can't be right. There's way more than 3 people in here. Now I got to put one in here. I really like New Jersey this year. But I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Carolina, Islanders, Rangers. Carolina, Islanders, Rangers, Philadelphia. I got 5. I think they're going to... I really like New Jersey this year. I love the Bernier pickup. I think they've got so many young players that are just ready to burst out. I think they could do some serious damage this year. To me, this is a year that a lot of the younger teams that are rebuilding get to step up. I thought Detroit might be one of those teams, but certainly not without Verana. I think Hughes is going to have a big year. 6.5 average. I think Hughes is going to have a big year. I think, all of those, Sharon Govich could break out even more. I love their goaltending. Sharon Govich. Oh, they got Tatar on the top line now. Okay, I haven't looked at this since I did this. They got Tatar, Hughes, and Sharon Govich as the top line so far. right now. On Andreas Johnson, I don't know why they have him in the second with Heischer and Bratt. Wood with Zaka and Kaukinen. Boquist, McLeod. That is a deep team, though. That's a team that can get a lot of offense. You can get a lot of offense out of that team. They got, just like I thought, Graves with Hamilton. Ty Smith and PK Subban. Wow. That would be... And then Siegenthaler and Severson. Interesting. That was the first time I checked that out. Yeah, I think they could be sneaky. Yeah, absolutely. You're not a Graves fan? How can you not be a Graves fan? Holy crap. Yeah, if you're not Makamadulin, yeah, I don't expect... That's actually, I think you nailed it, actually. It's Mac. The only thing he made a mistake on is the U, I think. I think it's M-A-K-H. I think he might have got it. But I don't think he's going to play. I think Graves is good, man. And Hamilton, you just can't ignore his analytics. Whatever you say, you can't ignore those analytics. They're fantastic. So, yeah, it's so close. Pretty impressive if you did that off the top of your head. I'm pretty sure it's Mac, though, not Makamadulin. It's Makamadulin. But everything else is pretty much bang on. It almost is the same as it sounds, though. So we got, yeah, the Devils. The Devils didn't get much love from the community. I got them higher than everybody else. If the Devils made the playoffs, it would not surprise me. It wouldn't. I really like the Devils. Okay. Next. Next is the Rangers. And not I won't even say anything. Next is the Rangers. Is it the Islanders or the Rangers next? Did I miss the Islanders somehow? Oh, yeah, the Islanders. Never mind. Islanders. Second. Wow, fourth. Jean has them fourth. What after this, I want everybody to post their actual ones that they did. Jean has them fourth. I got a toss up on that, but I'm going to put them just because it's Barry Trotz, but they always fade down the stretch. They have injuries, they're in a bit of trouble, but Trotz always has them playing the system that protects their injury position. Sorokin and Varlamov. Yeah, okay. I got one too. What? Hajin has him fourth. That's surprising. New York Islanders. It was the Islanders. Or was that for the Rangers? Because I made a mistake. Jacket. Did you put one in for the Islanders jacket? Islanders. Okay, one. Everybody has them first so far. Except for Eugene. Lauren has second for the Islanders because you have Carolina. What did I give to Carolina? Oh, yeah, okay, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, but I think this year they could be. I think this year they could be. They got a stronger defense than they've had for a long time. The reason why they're not a regular season team is because their defense was never very deep. They usually fade down the stretch, you're right, because they don't have much depth in their roster. They usually start getting tired down the stretch. That's why I should really stick with my first instinct on this one. I think I'm going to kick myself that I don't stick with my first instinct. So what's the average? 1.6. Yeah, Dobson's going to change things a lot this year too for them too. That their top three of Dobson, Pelich, and Pulak is fantastic. And then Chara definitely is an upgrade over whatever they had before. Mayfield is really underrated. It's after that. It's after their roster players where it falls off pretty hard. But I think the one that's the thing that is giving them the edge this year for me is that Sorokin will probably be better than Varlamov. Their 1-2 punch and goal is going to give them so many additional points this year. They've been just really slow with them. Dobson, you gotta remember, Dobson didn't really play any AHL time. They kept him up instead of sending him back to junior and then barely played him. Because they thought that it was no use him going back to junior, but they couldn't put him in the AHL. And it's been... Yeah, so I think he'll have a big year this year, too. I agree. I think he's going to have a big year this year, for sure. Okay. Yeah, he's going to learn quite a bit. Chara will definitely help. No doubt about that. It's going to be how their players hold. Even their offensive guys, like they don't have much depth offensively. If they get significant injuries to their offense, they're going to be scrounging to win 2-1 games a lot and stuff like that. The Rangers are next. And I'm not picking the Rangers to win this division, but I could definitely see it happening. I could see the Rangers winning this year. I could see them winning it this year. I seriously could. I think I'm going to kick myself this year. I think I'm going to kick myself that I took the Islanders. I really think I should be switching these. The Rangers first, then Carolina, then the Islanders. The only reason why I'm taking the Islanders this year is because I think that Varlamov-Sorokin combination with that defense may be just enough to give them the extra points to win. But I really think the Rangers could be absolutely insane this year. Seattle, you got second. 2.8 average. The Rangers' offense is good and could be very good, like Lafreniere and Kako and those guys. I think Kako's going to have a really good year. I think Lafreniere is going to have an amazing year. I think Heidel is been building up to have getting better every year. I think this could be his takeoff year. And if that's the case, that is one hell of a deep lineup. My gosh. And then, of course, you got Fox. And their major issue is if Schneider and if they have injuries on defense, they could be in a bit of trouble. But almost every team can say that. Matthew Robertson, Zach Jones, and Schneider. When those guys are ready, the New York Rangers are going to, I would imagine, have at least one cup in them. And the way Schneider played last year in junior, like he absolutely freaking destroyed last year. Way more offense than anyone expected. I even think more than the Rangers ever expected out of him. Yeah, and Reeves, not just Reeves, what's his name there, that they got back for Buchnevich. What the heck? Sammy Blais. Look, you got Lafreniere, Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin, Strome, Kakko. Lafreniere, they got up in the top line. If he can crush this year and have Panarin be able to play with Strome and Kakko and they connect, and then Gaudreau, Heidel, and Vitaly Kravtsov, who I have my doubts that he's going to be as great as everybody thinks he is, but I think he's a very good two-way guy. And then Blais, Rooney, Reeves. This team could be just absolutely insane this year. Oh, they will win a cup. It would be a huge disappointment if they don't win the cup. Well, that's a ways yet. I mean, they're different teams now. Georgiev, yeah. Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if the Rangers win this division. Yeah, okay. So before everybody takes off on us, we got a bunch of people taking off on us. Where are you going? What possibly could be more important in your day than hanging out with us? I couldn't imagine. Can't be. Rangers will have difficulty cap-wise, but I think they'll work around it. I mean, you think about it, I wouldn't mind being in that kind of cap hell where you can trade some seriously good players and basically just keep the dynasty rolling over and over and over again if they do it right. If they do it right, the Rangers could just keep that dynasty rolling. They got the type of players that they can trade and get a huge package of prospects and picks and nail them and keep going. Flyers next. Yep. Flyers. Wow, 7th. Lauren's giving them no love. Carter Hart's going to be a disaster. Jacket has Philly in 7th. Holy crap. What in the world? Hajin 2, CL 4. That's saying a lot. Maybe it is going to be 7th. If CL is putting him 4th, maybe there's something I'm missing here. Seattle thinks they're going to win every game, but they're going to come at fourth. I got 4. I think they're going to be 4. I got faith in Carter. I got faith in Carter hot. Faith in Carter hot, yo. Faith in Carter Hart. Not sure I have faith in Ristolainen. I like Ellis. It's going to be a strong team. Believe me, they'll win the Presidents. They'll come in fourth and win the Presidents all at the same time. That would be pretty impressive. $4.8. They'll come in fourth and win the Presidents all at the same time. Yeah, buddy. Raymond Raheem. Who wins the President's Trophy? It's funny you came in and did that. Well, we'll take a break. Take a slight break here from our Metro. We're predicting the Metro right now, Raymond. But we can take a look at that. Who wins the President's Trophy this year? I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be one of the teams in the Pacific. Probably be Vegas since I put Vegas first. I would say Vegas. Yeah, I think that division's a little too tough, CL, for them to win the Presidents. I think Vegas will win it just simply because there's so much, like, their division is, they play so many poor teams in their division. Like, that's the thing is, like, the President's Trophy is so, doesn't really mean much because it just means you're, like, the best team in a really weak division most of the time. Or it only means a lot if you, like, win it and you crush in a really tough division. Well, we'll wait till you come back, Jacket. Pittsburgh Penguins. So we got 1/5, 2/5. No, don't do that. We got to do one at a time. We're screwing me up. So what did I have? I had New Jersey 5. I got Penn 6, Cap 7th. CL's got him 8th. I don't even know about that one. I almost want to put the Pen 7th because of the goaltending. I had Jackets at 8. I had the Blue Jackets getting last. $5.8 for the Pens. Oh, for CL, okay. Yeah, Pittsburgh, he hates the Pens, so. Oh, Dominic, you took off. We were doing predictions for the Metro. So every time we had, every time I do a team, you have to put what place you think they're going to finish, and then we average it out, and then we do our predictions for the Metro. That's why you have to be attentive and not miss any of the stream, or you miss so much of the frolic. Like, think, whatever you were doing while you were gone, was it worth it, really? Was it worth it to miss that fine frolic right there? I can't imagine. Dork, you missed it too. Wow. You missed it too. So anyways, so what were the Capitals then? What's the Capitals, Avi? Oh, you need Capitals CL. What's your Capitals pick? You guys can pick Capitals. What place do you think Capitals are going to be in the Metro? And you can pick Pittsburgh too, because we're not done yet. CL puts Capitals in 5th place. Dominic Leclerc pits them 4th. Wow. We're all over the place with the Caps. And Dork picks them 5th. Hajin is doing the averaging. Everybody should be giving Hajin a Perlo dance for Hajin, by the way. Let's have a community Perlo dance for Hajin for doing all of this fine percentages coming in here in the stream and always being there. Right there. There we go. Well done. Dork, you're getting really good at the Perlo dance, my friend. You must have been practicing over the off season. Because you used to be like a little off on the, but now you look like you're doing really good. Excellent. 4.85 average. Capitals. That could make it interesting. 4.85. Whoa, just took out the Flyers. So we got the Canes first, I think. Islanders second. Rangers third, I believe. Rangers third. You're welcome. What hockey hair would you go for? Who's got the best flow? I don't really pay attention to it. I would say like Lundqvist. Yager mullet. Okay, so we got Rangers third. I believe we got the Capitals coming in under the wire here. No, the Flyers just make it in to 4th. Then the Capitals. Then the Penguins. What name is that? The Traveling Yoggers? The Bork. Gretzky had the best mullet. Then the Devils get no love. 7th. And Jackets. 8th. No, I do not know the Traveling Yoggers. I didn't know what the heck that was. Oh, wait, yeah, everybody grew out Yager mullets or something like that and traveled around. I think I do remember that, actually. Yeah, it's an actual thing. Yeah, I think I do remember that now. Didn't they travel from, like, to every single arena wearing Yager mullets or something like that in, like, the 90s? Oh, okay. Did they go to every arena or did they only go to the ones where... each one of them had a jersey that he wore? Did they go to every arena? Okay, I got to grab another coffee. I'll be right back, guys. You guys don't go anywhere now. Stay, sit, stay. Don't move now. Jacket, settle down. Settle down. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Somebody left while I was gone. Okay, they're back. All right, good. Traveling Galchenyuks. Yeah, well, the traveling Galchenyuks, all they'll do is they'll just walk around and bang into stuff. They'll just bang into everything blindly all the time. You gotta heat it up. Had to heat up my coffee. Okay, let's see what we got here. See if we got any new news coming down the pipeline. Actually, here, I could check it here. Let's see if we got any rumors. Anything interesting? Archibald is not feeling well. He continually tests negative for COVID, but is still sick. He hasn't been cleared to get vaccinated, even if he decides to. So that would be huge. I mean, Archibald's not, when the Oilers don't have all that much depth, and that would be a big loss for the Oilers. It wouldn't be a big loss for most teams, but for the Oilers, that's a big loss. No update on Gaudreau contracts. Mike Sillinger Club, yeah, that's a good one. No update on the Gaudreau contracts. And a lack of clarity. Basically, they're not talking about it. I don't think they're talking about Gaudreau contract until this team is in the playoffs this year. If Calgary doesn't make the playoffs this year, Gaudreau, I believe, is gone. Lee Stempniak, that's a good one too. Ekholm, for some god-awful reason, wants to stay with the Predators. I want to be here. I want to stay here. That's the business of it. My agent is dealing with that with General Manager Poyle. Source Nashville. Penguins in no rush to sign Malkin and Letang. He doesn't believe the Penguins are, as per Dan Kingerski, they're waiting to see how things play out this season before signing them. That's never a good sign. I think Letang is going to get traded. I think Letang's going to get traded. Sillinger played for 12 teams, yeah. All right, thanks for coming in, H&R. Get to 2,000 games? That would be pretty crazy. It would. I would have. So they would have to play till they're 50. I think they'd have to start off like right in the NHL. 80 times 10 is 800. 20 seasons is 1,600. At an average of 80 games, 1,600. So that would be 40. They'd have to play till they're 50. I'm pretty sure in order, and like basically never miss a game. Panthers, Senators. I remember him playing in almost all of those. I remember him playing for all of those teams too. Like, I vividly remember him playing for every one of those teams. And that goes to tell you, like, Sillinger, every team he played for, he actually played for. Like, he was on, he provided a important role for every single one. I never understood why he couldn't land. Like, he was just one of those players that was one of those tweener players that can play all over your lineup. But I would also have to think that there was more of a reason than that than we know. I don't know. Might have been just a fluke, but maybe he had a quirky personality or something like that. But it just seems odd that a team wouldn't have held on to him for longer than they did. But that was crazy. 12 teams he played for. I'm going to change my title. So what do you guys figure? Do you figure that that Letang is still a Penguin after this year? I think Letang is as good as gone this year. If not, what's his contract look like? Especially if they miss the playoffs. If they're out of the playoffs at the deadline, I think it's over for Letang. I think so. It just doesn't make any sense to sign him again. Yeah, he's at 22. It doesn't make sense to sign Letang. It doesn't make sense. If they're out of the playoffs this year, I would trade Letang. I would trade Demelin. It's rebuild time, baby. I know it's going to be hard to swallow, but it's got to be done. And I don't think you brought in Hextall not to rebuild. The only reason why he doesn't get dealt is if they're in the playoffs at the deadline, they'll probably keep him but they're not going to re-sign him anyway, but he's gone after the season. I agree. Like, I don't think they're going to re-sign him again. Unless he takes like a super pay cut to stay there. Letang is gone. I don't think he's going to retire. He's only 34. He still puts up good points. There's definitely teams that could use Letang at like maybe Suter-like money, something like that. At Duncan Keith money, $5 million a year. I would much rather the Edmonton Oilers have waited and took Letang at $5 million. Not to say that he would go to Edmonton though. Dallas, then they'd have like the oldest defense in the league. But how do you rebuild that team? You're not trading Ovechkin. You can't trade Backstrom. Like, what are you rebuilding? They're just try to get younger, I guess. They're going to call it just get younger. They have nobody coming up the pipeline for that defense. I don't know. Like, for me, I'd go for the best goaltender you could possibly get and then hope the heck you can do something. Retool. They might suck a different way. Retool just basically means we're going to suck in a different way. That's what I always think retool makes. It's like, we don't like sucking this way. We're going to suck a different way. But I don't think they have much of a choice but to just suck a different way. Kind of do what Chicago did and don't tell anybody you're rebuilding, but trade away a lot of players where you know you're going to suck and hope the hell that you can get lucky enough to nail like one of your firsts or just nail a couple picks and then maybe be able to go for one more run, but that it's not as bad as San Jose, but that lineup is in bad shape. Yeah, pretty much. It just means let it roll, but they need picks somehow. They got to be a pick somehow. The Leafs can't rebuild. There's no way you rebuild. No way. How are they going to rebuild? You're going to trade away all those players? Leafs can't rebuild. There's no way. But how would Washington... They would have to trade Orlov. Really going to trade... Like, they'd have no defense whatsoever. Their defensemen are who they could get away with trading. And then they'd have to sign free agents. I guess that's what you'd have to do. Trade Orlov. It's not really a rebuild. Like, get as many picks as you can and then grab free agents to try to make the defense good enough that Ovechkin and them can... That's the best I ever think. That's why I would have been all over getting a guy like Fleury. I'd love to see at least tear it down. That'd be like just tear it all down now. Trade Matthews and everybody. Holy crap. It is never going to happen. New ownership for the Leafs is never going to happen. Nobody's going to get rid of that marketing freaking... if you got that, it's the best commercialization you can have. Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Leafs don't even have to be good. And it's the best advertising you could possibly have. Not to mention, you're not really losing money. It's free advertising. Even if the Leafs aren't even good. There's no way anybody's going to give that up. It's not really free because I think they're worth like, what are they worth? They got to be worth $1 billion now. Let me look that up. How much is the Leafs franchise worth to buy? Yeah, $1 billion. No, it was purchased in 2012. It was $1 billion. So now it's probably maybe 2 billion on Forbes. Yeah, you'd have to give up a crap load to get the Leafs for sure. It'd be quite the. It might be 2 billion now, and that's just the numbers got to depend on if they sell, like what they value and what they would take for it are two different things. They bought it was somebody bought whoever bought it 2012. What was who owns the Leafs? I think it's a conglomerate, isn't it? Jeremy Diamond. No, that's not it. Toronto Maple Leafs owners is plural. Oh, no, it's not. What? Ontario Teachers Pension Plan owns the Toronto Maple Leafs? What the heck? I did not know this. The Ontario Teachers Pension Plan owns the Toronto Maple Leafs, apparently. The Jets are owned by True North? Okay. Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Okay, so since we did all that, why don't we look at who wins who wins Rookie of the Year this year? It's got to be Caulfield, maybe? Caulfield, probably. Oh, Senators new stuff. There seems to be no end in sight for negotiations that have gone on for some time, despite Senators GM Pierre Dorion repeatedly stating that talks were progressing and positive. Wow. If Brady is going to accept a long term, then he's going to need bonus money. Yeah. I agree if I'm him. If they're going 8 for 8, I would be looking at bonus money too. That's fair. I think Tkachuk is being fair. The Senators do not give out bonus money in any other contracts. The only player is set to receive any sort of bonus outside of small amounts is Nikita Zaitsev, and that was with the Toronto deal. Clark Bishop looks like he's injured. Rasmus Sandin, not likely. I would say Caulfield. Rookie of the Year. Bouchard in Edmonton. I know it's not like the most killer year for... I know Lundell from Florida would be up there if he makes it this year. San Jose, oh yeah, LA Kings have a ton. LA Kings have lots that could do it this year. That's why a lot of people, and I am high on them. Byfield. Do they have anybody penciled in here now? They don't even have Byfield penciled in so far. But Byfield, Kapari, Kaliev. They got lots that could be Rookie of the Year this year. Spencer Knight, that's a good one too. Yeah, I still think, I mean, he could crush so hard, even with that team in front of him. He's that good. Like, he's so noticeably good that I don't know if the team in front of him would really tarnish it all that much. Nick Robertson, that was last year. He was already up for it, so he can't be up for it again. He came in second last year, so. I wonder if Vitaly Kravtsov would be a rookie this year. I think so. Yeah, I don't think he played enough last year to not be a rookie. Oh, he played 20 games. He was right on the cusp. Kravtsov could be there, though. Cozen's played too many games last year, right? Or Cousins. I don't know why I want to call him Cozen's all the time. It's Cousins. Yeah, he played too many games last year. There'll probably be some Buffalo players make it that we're not sure of, we're aware of. But I would say Cole Caulfield has to be the almost for sure. As long as he doesn't get injured, I think Caulfield's a guy. 3-2 Flyers tonight. Okay. McDavid wins, as long as the Oilers make it, McDavid wins most valuable player again every year, right? Matthews will win. It almost seems like it's too easy out there to pick. Matthews wins the Rocket. Seems like Dan O is set up to win the Selke. And now with a full year, Vasilevsky wins the Vezina. I think he could win it for more than that. I don't know. You think, and then you think Bedard? Yeah, I think. I think Hyman would have played really well with Crosby. Imagine Hyman with Crosby in his prime. That would have been like a perfect combination. I think Crosby and Hyman would have been perfect. But McDavid could almost play with anybody, seriously. They could have even grabbed Tatar. I can't wait to see this defense. It's as much as it could be an absolute train wreck. I'm still really excited to see the Edmonton Oilers play actual games. Because the way they've set it up, the way they've set that up, set themselves up with like surprise moves like Keith and CC and stuff like that. I'm totally. It's like you're almost getting rid. It's almost like you're going to watch a NASCAR game or NASCAR. It's going to watch NASCAR. And there is this possibility that it could be just an absolute brutal wreck. And you don't want to wreck, but you still can't help but watching the possibility of it happening. I'm thinking Matthews. I think if Matthews can stay healthy for a long time, he certainly could do it. Or McDavid. But McDavid is he's more of a playmaker. This year, though, I think he's going to get over 50 and over 150. I wonder if anybody did anything with my tweet that I did. I wonder if I got anything back from that tweet that I did. I got a like. Somebody liked it, but nobody said anything. I thought that somebody would answer that for sure. Maybe I gotta try it again later on. Maybe I'll try it again later on when there's more people at home and not working. I'll see if he went on waivers, if Duncan Keith went on waivers, if anybody would pick him up. The first thing they'll do is Edmonton Oilers fans will say that we're not going to put him on waivers and blah, blah, blah. They'll totally miss the part that I said if, hypothetically speaking, if Keith went on waivers, would anybody pick him up? And the answer is probably no, nobody would pick him up. I wonder if Chicago would have put him on waivers eventually. And then the Oilers could have just picked him up for free. I wonder if they would have just held out, because you didn't need Keith. It wasn't like an absolute. Maybe it was. I don't know. That's the hard thing with Edmonton is it's so hard to get guys there that anybody that can have NHL talent, they like fall all over themselves. Yeah, we'll give you a third. Well, whatever. Just so happy somebody wants to come here. That's the thing. But I think that if they would have held out long enough, if they would have just waited it out, like especially since Keith already said he wanted to go to Vancouver after everything that he did for Chicago, winning those cups. Eventually, Keith would have been put on waivers, and they could have picked him up for free without giving anything up for him. Yeah, Bill Zito or Fuda or whatever, yeah. I don't know, again, would Bill Zito want to go to Edmonton? Maybe they asked him if he was interested, and he was like, nah, I'll wait until somebody like a place like Florida that's warm all year round comes calling. Because Zito was definitely going to get a job. It wasn't a question of if, really. He kind of had his choice of wherever he wanted to go. So take that into consideration. But I still think they jumped too hard on Holland. Especially for what I'm sure they're paying for him. Although I don't think that Daryl Katz really cares about money all that much, about how much he's paying guys. He probably made as much money to pay Holland as in the time that we were just talking right now. But like, the more I think about that deal, the more I think about what they did there, the more I have, like I said, when you think about the fact that they probably, nobody would take him on waivers right now. Yeah. And that they did a handful of things. And now they're not going to give Colorado and Vegas a run for their money with the handful of things they did. That's the thing. I mean, Cody Ceci could prove me wrong, but I don't know. I don't think with what they have there, he's going to... I didn't say a handful of good things you're saying. Yeah, exactly. I would really like to know what the options were that he had. That's what I would like to know. The Hyman deal, I don't necessarily begrudge him for, because I think the Hyman deal is going to work out. Let's put it that way. not trading back in the draft, you mean? Apparently, Wallsted's got an attitude issue, though. Apparently, Wallsted's got an attitude issue. And from all accounts, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here on his side here. In all accounts, the kid they picked up is looking really good already. The kid they picked up is apparently looking really, really good. Borgo. The one that I'm a little concerned about because I just don't see enough offense coming out of the guy is but he's still pretty young, but Philip Broberg. He can skate like the wind, but he only had 13 points in 44 games in the SHL last year. And what's he, 20 now? I'm not like, he's big. He certainly has speed. I just don't think he's going to be ever that offensive guy that you want to get at that draft area. Yeah, Hyman was fine. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they could get Gaudreau or not. I don't know if Gaudreau would want to go to Edmonton, and that's always the biggest question. I don't think Gaudreau's better than Hyman, though. Do you think Gaudreau is better than Hyman? Maybe they could have had Ranta. I don't know. No, okay. He's just cheaper, yeah. Maybe could they have had Ranta? I don't know. I'd have to talk to Ranta. What would you do if you were Ranta? Would you go to Edmonton or would you go to Carolina? I'd probably go to Carolina. If they got Ranta, I would have been like worried anyways, because he's just always so consistently been injured a lot. And then we would have had Ranta, who is injured a lot, with the 39-year-old goaltender. So that wouldn't have been my pick. I would have took Bernier. Bernier. You know that. Now, that's assuming Bernier wants to go to Edmonton. And that's where it all comes down to with Edmonton is getting guys that want to go there is the biggest problem. It's not like you're in New York where everybody wants to go to, or many, warmer teams, LA, teams like that, they never have a problem. They generally don't have much of a problem getting guys to go to places like that. But Edmonton and Winnipeg too. I wonder if they could have got Brendan Dillon, though, instead of Keith. I would rather have Brendan Dillon than Keith. Why was Winnipeg able to scoop up Brendan Dillon, but Edmonton couldn't? I don't understand. What's the difference between going to Winnipeg and Edmonton? Unless Dillon is from Toronto area, then it would be because that's the other thing is Edmonton's further away from Toronto, and most Canadian players are from Ontario. So you don't even have that. You really are looking for Western boys. I think Dillon is from Brendan Dillon, 3.9. They had to trade for him too, didn't they? Did they trade for Dylan or did they sign Dylan? I can't remember. No, they trade. Oh, they had to trade for Dylan. Yeah, I mean, yeah, with McDavid there, you think they would be able to scoop a couple more. I mean, that's probably why they could get Zach Hyman. Brendan Dillon, what was that trade? Brendan Dillon trade. What did Winnipeg give up? I think it was it a second? Was it just a second? So the Winnipeg Jets by the Washington for a second round pick. Oh, 2 seconds. That is steep. Two seconds. So I still think I'd trade 2 seconds to Washington for Brendan Dillon rather than the package they gave up for Keith. Brendan Dillon makes less money. And he's from BC. So he would have actually been closer to home if he went to Edmonton. There you go. Right there. He would have been closer to home if he went to Edmonton. For that matter, why... For 2 second-round picks, why doesn't Vancouver... Well, I guess it was because of cap, probably. But Edmonton, it wasn't because of cap. They could have been in on Brendan Dillon for 2 seconds. See you later, Lauren. I would definitely take Brendan Dillon for 2 seconds, then what they gave up for Keith for a third and a good prospect all day long. No doubt about it. I just can't see why they couldn't have been in on that trade. Maybe because in Winnipeg, Brendan Dillon can win a top 2 spot, but he's a left defenseman. How would that look if they would have did that? If they would have did that deal instead of Keith. Keith is probably a righty though, isn't he? No, he's a left defenseman. They would have had Dillon for 3 years. And he could have played with Barry. Oh, wow. And I can't see why he would turn it down. It would have been... I think they're going to be good, but I think they could be in trouble just as well, too. I think they could be scored on a lot. But I'm just saying, like, I don't see why they couldn't have Brendan Dillon instead of Duncan Keith. For 2 seconds, Brendan Dillon is from BC. So he went to Winnipeg, which is further away from BC. It wouldn't make any sense to me why he wouldn't go to Edmonton instead. Like, I can't. I'm trying to figure out maybe some possibility that there's a reason why he would go to Winnipeg over Edmonton. The only thing I could think of is he could think that he could beat out Joshua Morrissey, where he doubts he would be able to beat out Nurse and get a number one spot. That's the only thing I could think of. It's possible. Anyways, Dominic, what is your team? We'll talk your team since we're getting pretty low on people in here in the stream. What's your team, buddy? No, he's probably away from his computer right now. I just asked him and now he's not there. Yo, you're a Vancouver fan. He has family in Winnipeg? Okay. Maybe his wife is from Winnipeg or something like that? So that could be it too. You're a Vancouver fan. Well, how do you think Vancouver's going to do this year? How do you think Vancouver's going to do there? They need better defense. Yeah, well, how are they going to get it now? Have you heard anything there? Any truth to the sort of the rumor? It's not really a rumor. I heard it. I heard that he was sucking wind in camp, that he was out of shape. Have you heard anything about that, about Ekman Larsson? Because that would be absolutely devastating for Vancouver. Maybe. Yeah, they could add at the deadline, I suppose. But, I mean, you heard that? Oh, my gosh. God forbid, man. For Vancouver fans, please tell me that's not true. Because if he's out of shape at his age now, like, at $8 million a year, like, basically Arizona just pawned off an out-of-shape, overpriced monster on the hands of Vancouver. Pretty much forget about it, man. That $8 million a year for a dud like that, the odds of Vancouver winning a cup are just gone way south. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true. Because that would be freaking brutal. I would be livid. If I was a Vancouver fan, I think that would be the last straw for me. I would be the last straw for me. I'd be tearing down that freaking arena. And whatever, Benning would have to be fired immediately. Immediately. Before I gave another dime in money at all, before I ever gave another penny to that franchise, Benning would be fired immediately. How can you possibly trade for a guy and you don't even know? Because if he's out of shape, it didn't just happen in 1 year. Like, this means he's been out of shape probably for a while. He just got comfortable in Arizona, laying back on his freaking money and not doing anything. And you gave up. You took him so you could get Garland? Oh, that would be an absolute disaster, man. Especially after losing a lazy Swede in Eriksson. Like, you give up a lazy Swede, get another one back at a more important position. He probably isn't worth 8, but my gosh, It'd be okay if he was just, you know, a 40-point guy who works on the power play and, you know, has some decent possession stats at least. But coming to camp out of shape? I didn't even look that up. Beagle and Roussel was to make up for, that's fine. It makes up for cap room and everything like that. And I'm glad they got, I mean, it's good that they got Garland for sure. I don't know how his body's going to hold up over 82, but it's still, I mean, he's the type of guy you want on your lineup. And I love, of course, let me bring up Vancouver here. That would be so shitty. Excuse my French, but that would be so bad. That would be terrible. And then you couldn't, like, there's somebody that they're not going to be able to sign now that they made that deal, too. He's only 30 years old. But Hoglander, I love Hoglander. You got Paul Colson coming in. You know, the top 6, if they can pay them, looks lovely. But if you end up losing like Brock Besser because you got Larson, and he is a lazy piece of crap. Oh, man. I think the deal would have been, he probably would have considered trading the 9th pick straight up, but I think Arizona's like, no, we're not trading with you unless you take this Larson contract. Because I imagine there was a lot of people in on Garland at the time. So if I'm Arizona and you can tell that a team really wants it hard, they're like, we don't want Larson back again next year. We really need to rebuild and we don't want to pay him because we're broke or whatever you want to say. They're not going to, and forget it, try to, like Arizona's crossing their fingers they don't check up or haven't paid attention to the fact that he's out of shape. And yeah, that's brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. That being the case, that is brutal. And signed as stars with OEL money. I mean, I still think the 9th overall should have got Garland, though. I agree with you. But then they're still stuck with Ekman Larson. And I think the crux of the deal is like, well, we'll just keep Garland unless you take Larson. We don't need to trade him. So they're like, okay, let's see if we can work out a deal with Ekman Larson. And well, I'm doing one with Peyton opening night. I believe we're doing Seattle and Vegas opening night. But this has been a lot of fun, but I got to get going here. So tell all your friends. Let's get this up to tomorrow. We're going to get 20 concurrent viewers. 20 concurrent viewers tomorrow. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's good times, my friends. Thanks for, yeah, I got to get going. I got to go pick up my little lady and make supper and all that kind of stuff like that. So you guys have good times. That's my full 42. See you tomorrow again at 1 until whenever I feel like it. Till when I feel like it o'clock. Okay, bye.